Welcome back to another video, guys, and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 houses coming to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Now, before we get into that, on this channel we cover everything from horror, theme park, travel, and much more. So if that's your thing, consider browsing my channel and my other videos, as well as subscribing. Now, like I said, today's video is going to be a top 5, but keep in mind that these houses have still not yet been released. We're going to keep it in traditional fashion, with 5 being my least hyped house, all the way to 1 being my #1 most hyped house for this year. But once again, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm just doing this list in anticipation, kind of getting myself ready, something you guys could enjoy. But after we actually attend the event, which is actually in 2 days, I'm in the process of packing as we speak, I will do another updated list, and who knows, this may have changed and may remain the same, but that's how we're going to do it today. Top 5, starting from 5 being the least anticipated, all the way to 1 being the most anticipated house for me this year.
Number 5.
Now, my number 5 house has moved slowly up the list, getting closer to number 1. It stopped and it's rested at number 5 just because once I've got into the top 5, it's been very difficult to put them in order. But originally, I was not hyped up for this one. When it got announced and when the speculation was out there for this one, I didn't think it was a smart idea. It didn't seem like a house that would be a property that would do really well at a horror event. It didn't seem like a actual horror movie. I would have put this right behind House of a Thousand Corpses, which is my dead last, but it's moved up the list. I've thought about it a little bit more. I've heard some information as far as what the presentation is going to be like, and yes, this house is Ghostbusters. This is a classic movie. Don't get me wrong. I do love the movie itself. It's just I wasn't too hyped about it coming to Halloween Horror Nights, at least not as a house. I could see it doing a lot better as a scare zone, but as a house, I was a little bit hesitant, but it's been growing on me, and now it's moved all the way up to my number 5, and really the top 5 to me are all going to be great in my opinion, but we'll see.
Number 4.
My number 4 house is one that's going to be near and dear to me. Last year, a lot of people loved it as a scare zone. It was undoubtedly the #1 scare zone that came to the event last year, and that is Klowns from Outer Space. This year, we're going to have the opportunity to actually walk through the tent, live out some of the movie scenes, not just see the amazing costumes that we saw last year and interact with the clowns. We're actually going to be able to live out some portions of the movie. I'm looking forward to the entrance to the actual tent spaceship, as well as the opening area where they first experienced that big kind of dinosaur clown. The inside of the tent is something that I think has so much potential from a standpoint of a haunted house or a maze, however you want to call it, east or west, whatever. But at the end of the day, this is one that did really well did really well last year, and I started calling for it immediately, as well as my friend Anthony Zaragoza from Nights of Horror was doing the same. He's over in California, so check him out if you haven't already. But he is putting this one at the #1 on his list, so I know that this is a little bit blasphemous for him that I put it at number 4, but trust me, number 4 to me is still a near and dear property, Klowns from Outer Space.
Number 3.
Our number 3 is very simple, and that is Yeti, Terror of the Yukon, or if you want to hear my boy from Lost TV say it, Yukon. Forgive him, English is his 5th language, so he doesn't really know how to speak it too well. But this house is actually one and the only original concept house that I'm actually putting on my top 5, so that says a lot about this particular property and what I'm expecting of it. I really do like and have an infatuation towards Bigfoot and Yetis, which are kind of one and the same. So this house, I'm looking forward to a couple things. First and foremost, I like houses that have weather inside of them. So I'm looking forward to seeing like the snow. One of my favorite houses in the past was Krampus, and that one had a really cool snow aspect to it. In addition to that, I'm looking forward to seeing like a large Yeti coming out of nowhere, like maybe somebody in like stilts or somebody who's like 7 foot tall in a 7 foot tall Yeti costume popping out of nowhere. That's going to be extremely terrifying. So that's why I put this one at my number 3.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Stranger Things. This one is going to be some of Season 2 as well as Season 3. Last year, I did not put this as my number 2, but it ended up being my number 2 after the event had been completed. So this year, I'm giving it a little bit more credit than I did last year. I'm respecting the actual third season a lot more than I did the previous seasons. So I really look forward to walking through this one. Starcourt Mall is something that I really have to see. The Neverending Story soundtrack has to be something that's playing at some point, if not all the way through the house. And yeah, just the interaction with some of the characters. Last year, they did a really good job with actually having characters that looked like the actual actors. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in Orlando. But this house last year did not let me down, and I was counting it out. So this year, I'm showing it a little bit more respect and keeping it at the number 2 on my list. And that leads us into my number 1.
Number 1.
Now, my number 1 is one that people that are close to me know exactly what it is, and that is Universal Classic Monsters. Last year, this is a house that I was extremely jealous of the Hollywood counterpart having this house at their event. I'm usually not jealous of the Hollywood event. I always have a little back and forth with my friends that are over on the West Coast, just telling them how Orlando's better. But this was one house that I absolutely was jealous about. These monsters not only paved the way for Universal Studios, they paved the way for horror itself. So running into them in their classic form, a little bit updated, I'm really looking forward to that. We got Frankenstein's monster, we got Dracula, and so many more. The Invisible Man, Swamp Thing. All these guys are going to be in one house, and we're going to be able to experience them all. This year, Hollywood is getting a derivative of that. So I think this is a house that potentially we could see next year again for the anniversary, given that the anniversary of Halloween Horror Nights, you want to bring things back that are classic and original to the event. Also, there is the chance that they're going to have a Classic Horror Monsters portion in this new theme park that's being released, and this just may be kind of them testing the ground. So I think they're going to do really well with this one. We've had a little bit of information leaked out as far as like what it's going to be like. I understand that we're going to see Frankenstein monster, the after remnants after he like basically burnt down the lab last year in the Hollywood event. So I'm looking forward to this one being an aesthetic house that is just going to be basically extremely impressive to see, in addition to the classic nature of it with the classic horror monsters. Now that is it for this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree with my list or what your list would be for your top 5 coming to the event this year. I'm currently in the process of actually packing to go to the event. I should have been at the event today, but Hurricane Dorian actually messed with my travel plans and my flight got canceled, and now I'm leaving on Thursday instead of leaving on Wednesday, which is today. But Halloween Horror Nights is just 2 days away. We got Thursday, and then Friday the gates open and the fog rolls out. So I look forward to seeing you guys all out there. For those of you that aren't going to be there opening weekend like I will be, I hope you enjoy the content that I'm going to be putting out while I'm on my vacation over there. I'll be there for 5 days, so I'll get as much as I possibly can. I'm going to try to get a lot of walkthroughs. You can't do it for the actual houses, but I'm going to try to get some walkthroughs for the scare zones. So you guys will get nice detailed walkthroughs of the scare zones as well as some of the merchandise. But yeah, let me know what you're looking forward to, what your top 5 would look like if you got to choose, or if you just agree with my top 5. And as always, peeps, don't forget to leave this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel to show your support. Click on the little bell icon to stay tuned for any additional content that I put out. And as always, peeps, don't forget to ask yourself, have you been entertained?